Hello guys, how are you doing? Today I would like to do some storytelling. I would like to tell you the story, the true story, 100% true story of how I manifested true love after having been single for 7 years. Okay, did you hear that? I had been single for 7 years and I was able to finally successfully manifest true love. And I'm sharing this story because I honestly, truly think that there is something you can learn from my experiences, and I hope my tips and my story is gonna help you. So if you want to find true love, if you want to manifest real love, your specific person, and you're tired of dating, you haven't been successful when it comes to your love life, please watch this video until the end because I think my experience might help you. So, how did I do? Well, first of all, I had just been in a relationship for maybe 3 years, and when we broke up, I was like 20 years old, and I was quite relieved because I was young. And when you're young, when you're like 20 something, not all people, but some people enjoy just being free, and it was nice to be free, to be single, to have my freedom back. And I wanted to just travel, do my own thing, and be able to date people, just have fun. And so the first maybe 2 years of being single, I really enjoyed it. I was enjoying life, everything was good. But at the end of the day, most people, not all people, we're all different, but most people at the end of the day want love in their lives. And love in a different way than, friendships or family kind of love, because that's different. But, most people want love. So I was starting to feel, like I wanted to meet someone and just to share my life with. I wasn't sure if I wanted to meet like the person I was gonna marry and be together with for 50 years, but I still wanted to meet someone. So after maybe 2 years, I started to actively date. I went on a lot of dates, and during this period, a lot of things happened in my life when it comes to like my career. I was studying also, by the way, and I was not really sure what I wanted to work with after I finished. I've never been 100% sure when it comes to like, oh, I want to become a teacher or a doctor. So at that time I was like, I'm not really sure what I want to do. Do I even want to stay here in Sweden because I'm based in Sweden, I'm Swedish? Do I even want to stay in Sweden, or do I want to move and live abroad? What do I want to do? So my life was a little bit messy, and eventually I decided to move to London, and I stayed there for 1 year. And it was a really amazing time living in London. And but even living there, I was still feeling a little bit lonely. I do enjoy being on my own because I'm a very independent person, so I enjoy having my own space. I enjoy being alone from time to time because I need my own space to feel good. But I still wanted to meet someone, so I was feeling lonely, and I went on so many dates, and not just in London, of course, but also before I moved there. Back in Sweden, I was going on so many dates, and remember, this was way back because I'm older than a lot of people think, so this was way back. And Tinder did not exist at that time, but there were a lot of other online dating websites and so on. So I would try to meet someone online, but online dating at this time was not as common as it is today. So when you told people like, yeah, I'm gonna meet someone from the internet, people were looking at you like, okay, are you sure? But nowadays it's like everyone does it, but at that time, this was way back, so it was not as common as it is today. So usually the most common way of meeting someone was at that time through like friends or common friends, or like a colleague or something like that. But I was going on so many dates, online dates, friends of friends. People would set me up for blind dates, and it just never seemed to work out. It never seemed to work out. And I mean, I had I had crushes on people. I met guys and I would have a crush on them, and I would think that, this is the guy, this is the guy for me. He's a really good guy. He looks good. He's nice. He's generous and so on. Sorry. But, it never worked out. And, looking back, okay, now that I look back on this experience, I think, it's quite obvious to me that I was having the wrong type of energy. I was in the wrong, quote unquote, energy field to successfully manifest love. And even back then, I was very much into, manifestations, the law of attraction, and so on. So I would try to manifest my person, but nothing seemed to work. And I think I was just in the wrong vibration. I was not having the right vibration of someone that had met their true love. Because when you are in your desired reality and you have your desires, you don't walk around thinking about your desires much. Why? Because you already have your desires. Like if you already met your husband or wife or whatever, girlfriend, boyfriend, your person that you're gonna be with, you don't think about meeting someone because you already have, right? So it's not on your mind anymore. But if you are thinking a lot about this, like I want to meet someone, I need to meet someone, you don't have the vibration of your desired reality, because in your desired reality, you would honestly not be thinking about this because you already have what you want, okay? But, back to the story. So back then I was thinking so much about, I have to meet someone, I need to meet someone, how can I move forward with this guy? Should I text him now or should he text me? And all these worries that you tend to have when you're dating someone or when you're active in the dating, dating sphere. So these thoughts would occupy my mind so much because I so badly wanted to meet someone. And then, as I mentioned, I was living in London. I was having a really good time in London, although I was lonely. I met some guys there, and actually one guy I told him, do you think we should, because we were friends, and I told him I was having a big crush on him, so I told him, like, do you think there's a chance we could get together as something more than just friends? I actually explicitly asked him, and he said, no, I don't think so. I want to focus on my career. But I had, you can usually feel when there is some spark between you and someone else. So I could feel that we had chemistry and there was some type of energy going on there. So I was really surprised. Like, why would he tell me that? I mean, it's obvious that he feels something. But, looking back at this, I can tell that I was being quite needy. I was being quite needy. I was not in the right space for attracting my person. And maybe that person and I was never meant to be together anyway. But, this is just an example. So eventually, after having spent 1 year in London, I decided to move back to Sweden for other reasons. It didn't have anything to do with love or dating, but I just decided to move back to Sweden because it was time. And so I did that. And my plan was to move back to Sweden to finish my studies, because previously I had been studying business administration and marketing, but I never finished my courses. So I decided to move back to finish my courses and then to move back to London again, because I had a lot of friends. I made a lot of friends in London. I enjoyed it there. I wanted to stay there. So I just wanted to move back to Sweden for some time, maybe a couple of months or a year, just to finish my degree and then move back to London. That was my 100% plan. So I moved back to Sweden. At that time, I had been single for 6-7 years. So I was like, whatever, screw it. I don't care anymore. I don't care. I don't care if I'm single for the rest of my life, because I was starting to give up. I was feeling like, okay, I have obviously been single for 6-7 years and I still haven't been able to meet someone. I mean, I didn't have a single relationship during that time. Not even like I would go on a few dates with a guy, but it would at most be maybe 4 dates. It was not even that I met someone I could see for like 2 or 3 months. It was not even that. It was just 2, 3, or maximum 4 dates. And so I was getting really, frustrated. I was like, when I moved back to Sweden, I was like, screw it, I don't care. I'm obviously gonna have to face the fact that I might have to be single for the rest of my life. This was something that I just started to, I tried to be okay with this thought because, I was 27, and when you're 27 or 30, you might start thinking of, settling down. Not all people, everyone is different, but I was starting to think about, maybe I want to settle down, maybe I want to have kids at some point and so on, but, I might have to change my life plans because if I don't have a partner, it's going to be much more difficult, obviously. So I might just have to face the fact that I might be single for the rest of my life, for my entire life. And at some point, after I have moved back to Stockholm, to Sweden, I was okay with this fact because I was thinking, okay, maybe it's not that bad to be single, for the rest of my life. How would that life turn out to be? Well, if I don't have kids, if I don't have a partner, I can be much more free. Even if you have a very allowing partner, you still have to compromise to build a life together. But whereas if you're single, you're completely free. You have freedom on a different level. So I was like, okay, maybe that's not too bad. To be single for the rest of my life, maybe that's quite nice because I can travel, I can do my own thing, I can move abroad, I can do whatever I want. And I was starting to really enjoy that thought. And then I was like, okay, I don't need someone. Whatever happens, happens. I don't care. And guess what happened? Yeah, you guessed it. I met someone. So when I started this course, I was just, like I said, I was just gonna finish my degree and then move back to London. And at this course, there was a guy. And the funny thing is, so we were in the same class. We were in the same course, in the same class, in the same group. Before I even knew who he was, and before I even knew his name, I had been asking like a lady, a psychic, like a medium, because I was into those things even back then. So I asked a medium like, can you see if I'm gonna meet love anytime soon? Again, at that time I was fine being single. I had processed these thoughts and I was like, okay, whatever, I can be single, I don't care anymore. But just for fun, I want to see if what a medium says. Would a medium say I'm gonna meet someone? So I just asked a medium about this. And this medium, like this psychic person, told me I'm gonna meet someone, I'm gonna meet a guy with 100% probability. 100% probability I'm gonna meet a guy and that's gonna be the guy for me. And she described, I'm not gonna go into detail, but she described the guy I was gonna meet quite specifically, like his features, his personality and so on. I was like, okay, whatever, let's see if it happens. If it does, that's nice. If not, whatever. This was before I knew this guy in my class. I didn't even know his name. And then a couple of weeks later or months later, we had some project together in this course. And I could tell quite soon that there was some connection going on. I felt very much drawn to him in a way I cannot explain. And let's just, I don't have to go into detail, but let's just say, I felt that connection and we ended up exchanging phone numbers, and he was quite obvious with his interests in me. Some people, they flirt quite, in a very subtle manner. This guy was very obvious. You could tell that he was interested, no doubt. So he expressed this interest in me quite obviously, and then we started dating, and I think we went on like 2 dates or 1 date, and then we were together. You can just feel, it's not like we were having a conversation like, okay, I guess we're a couple now, you're my boyfriend, I'm your girlfriend, but you can tell when something turns, usually from my point of view, you can tell when something changes from just dating into a relationship. And that change happened quite soon for us after just 1 or 2 dates, because after that point we started seeing each other regularly. And early on in this relationship, I told him I was trying to pull away actually, because I told him like, I don't want to meet someone right now today. Like, this is not the right time for me to meet someone, because I'm planning to move back to London quite soon. I told him this. And he was like, okay, you know, I really like you and I want to be with you, but if that's your like plan, if that's what you want, I fully support that, and I understand, and I want to stay friends with you. He was very like understanding, although disappointed, because he had an interest in me and I liked him a lot, but I wanted to be single because that's what I had, you know, decided. Remember, I said I told you before, like, I had made up my mind. I want to be single. I don't care about dating. I don't care about that. Screw it. I want to be single. I want to move back to London. I want to travel, so on and so on. So I was so sure at that point I wanted to be single, but then I met this guy again and I told him, I cannot be with you because I want to be single. I'm sorry, you know, what can I do? But I made up my mind, I want to be single. And he was, like I said, he was so understanding. He was like, okay, let's stay friends then. But I tried to be friends with him, but I couldn't. There was some energy pulling me towards him. I cannot explain it. And at some point during this period, sorry, not moved. I went back to London during a weekend because I still had my apartment in London. So I moved back because I had some, you know, paperwork to do with renting out this apartment and so on and so on. Anyway, I had to move back to London, or sorry, I had to spend a weekend in London just to fix some paperwork when it came to my apartment in London, because I still had an apartment in London. And as I was walking the streets in London, I saw, and I was thinking, like, what should I do? Should I be in a relationship with this guy, or should I just break up with him? And then, as I was thinking these thoughts, I saw a car with a license plate, and it said it had his name on it, and his name is 3 letters, and it was 3 letters on the car. And I have never seen that letter combination anywhere else before. Not before and not after this incident. And as soon as I saw his name on the car, I knew that was a sign. I was like, okay, this is obviously a sign that I should give this a chance. I should give this guy a chance. So that's what I did. So I reached out to him and said, you know what, let's give it a shot. Let's try. And at the beginning of our relationship, I was still frustrated because I was like, oh my God, you ruined my plan. You ruined my life plan. I was planning on, you know, being single. I was planning on staying single for the rest of my life and becoming a crazy cat lady. You know, I had my plan in place, and I was so satisfied with it because I was done with dating. So I was a little bit annoyed with him. This sounds strange, but I was annoyed with him for ruining my life plan. But we ended up in a relationship because I could not deny we had like a strong energy between us. And well, today we have been together for 15 years and we have been married for 9 years. So yeah, he's my husband now. So that's a 100% completely true story. And what I want to tell you with this story is that this is usually how it happens with all your manifestations. No matter if you are manifesting love, money, anything, a new job, whatever. This is how it works. As soon as you detach, it comes to you, okay? As soon as you detach, as soon as you tell yourself, I don't care anymore, whatever, I let go, I am okay with not having it. As soon as you tell yourself that, you let go of this needy energy and you become more aligned. Your vibration becomes more aligned with the vibration of the reality where you have your desires. And I think, you know, that's the very reason why we ended up in a relationship, and now that we are, and then ended up as married. Because if I would still be in that needy energy, if I hadn't come to that realization that, you know, I'm good either way, I'm good being single, I'm okay with that, I'm okay being single for the rest of my life, and I actually enjoy being single. If I hadn't come to that realization, me and my husband would never have been in a relationship, because I would still be in that needy space, the needy energy. And that needy energy is exactly, I am 100% sure, that needy energy is exactly why I was never able to be in a relationship with any of these guys that I dated before I met my husband. Because I dated a lot of people, a lot of guys, trust me, and with different kinds of personalities. So I mean, it would have been like realistic that I would have been in a relationship with at least one of them during these 7 years, but as long as you have that needy energy, you can date 1,000 people and still nothing's gonna happen because you're in the wrong energy field. But if you let go of that needy energy, if you start aligning with the right vibration of your desired reality, where you are in a happy, loving, fulfilled relationship, then your manifestations are gonna come this fast. Because at the very moment, just like a week or so after I had decided, I'm good being single, I don't care anymore, that is exactly when I met my husband, and it happened so fast. So can you imagine 7 years and everything changed in just a couple of days as soon as I changed my mind and like my whole energy field around this. So I also want to show you this. Okay, I know, sorry, I have to sit like this to be able to speak into the microphone, but I know this is a little bit like oversimplified and like obvious, but just to be extra clear, like what you want to achieve is this. So here is your desire. Your desire is, in this case, you want to be in a relationship, you want to find true love. This is your desire and it makes you feel happy. If you would have your desire, you would be ecstatic, happy, satisfied. The alternative option of being single, the alternative option, if you don't get your desires, what is the alternative reality? Well, it would mean to be single, obviously, because if you're not in a relationship, you're single, and you wanna achieve like a mindset. You want to have a mindset where you are okay with your desire, you are okay with having your desire, but you are also okay with the alternative option. You are also okay being single, okay? Whereas this is something you do not want to achieve. You do not want to have like a situation where you are where your desire makes you feel happy. I mean, that's fine, but you don't want to feel like your alternative option of being single makes you feel sad, depressed, or my life is ruined because I have to be single. You want to be okay with the alternative option. You want to find a way of being okay with the alternative option. You want to find a way of thinking that makes you feel like, I'm okay with this situation. If I don't get my desire, I'm okay with this situation. This situation is gonna make me feel okay. I don't have to feel like, I'm overjoyed. I'm extremely ecstatic and happy if I don't get my desire, but you need to be okay with it. You need to be okay with it. And try to avoid, a mindset where you're like, okay, if I don't get my desires, my life is ruined. I'm gonna be so extremely sad, You need to find a way of being okay with it. And usually, I mean, of course, it depends on your desire and what is you're trying to manifest. But usually, you just have to think of it from a different perspective. So in this case, because this video is about finding true love, rather than thinking, I'm gonna become so happy once I meet my person, try to be happy anyway. The way I was telling you, in my case, I was starting to see it from a different light. I was starting to see it as, being single is not that bad. I can be free, I can do this and that. So try to frame it from that point of view. Instead, try to find positive things about your alternative reality, about the other option of not having it. Because when you are okay with not having it, you detach, and that's when your desires are going to come to you. And that is exactly what happened. So trust me, you know, I am 100% sure that I would have found love sooner than in 7 years if I had managed to detach sooner. But I finally detached. After 7 years of being single, I finally detached. And that is when I found the love of my life, and we have been together for 15 years now, and we have a son together. And I have other stories when it comes to detaching and the success of manifestations and how it's related to detaching. I have so many stories on that, but I'm not going to tell all of those stories today. But this story is very telling to me, and I would like to share it with you because I think it's really going to help you. So, what is my advice? My advice, like I said, keep this image in mind. Like, your desires here. In this example, we're talking about love, but it could be applied to, you know, money, a new job, a house, whatever. But you have to be okay with the alternative option. And I know it sounds like rough and, okay, how I'm gonna do that? I really want my desire. I understand that. I understand you want your desire, but you have to be okay with the alternative reality. You have to be okay with this reality, because that is how you detach. And just a bonus example. So let's say that you have booked a trip somewhere, and when you come to the airport, you realize that the queue to the security check is very long, and suddenly you run out of time, and you're like, okay, how am I gonna be able to catch my flight? I'm gonna miss my flight. I am actually gonna miss my flight because there's more people in the queue than you had expected. So you're standing there in the queue, waiting for your turn, and you feel stressed. You know, maybe at that point you want to manifest that something magical happens so that the queue just disappears and you're able to run inside and catch your flight. Maybe, you know, that's something you want to manifest very quickly in that second. Instead of focusing too much of, you know, I need to catch my flight, I need to catch my flight, I need to catch my flight, how can I manifest that the queue disappears so I can catch my flight? Instead, try to find ways to be okay with the alternative option. And what is the alternative option? Well, in this scenario, it would be that you would actually miss your flight, but what can be good about that? Well, you know, maybe that means that you're gonna get booked for another flight, and maybe you just you're gonna be booked on another flight, and you're gonna get like a business class seat that's gonna be even nicer. Maybe that's gonna give you more time to go shopping at the airport. Maybe something good is gonna happen while you are waiting for the next flight. So, I mean, that sounds far-fetched, but it really isn't. You have to find ways to be okay with the alternative option, because that is how you detach. And you can apply this to anything. And again, I know it's hard to be okay with not having your desires. And I know some people are gonna be like, okay, well, I cannot do that because isn't that... You can do this with anything, no matter if you decide what you're desiring, no matter if you're desiring to have more money, love, a new car, whatever it is, a new house, this or that, whatever it is that you want, more customers to your business. You have to find a way to be okay with the alternative option. You have to find a way of being okay with being single and enjoy that. Enjoy the current reality, because that is how you detach from what you really want. Trust me. So, long story short, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope my story has helped you. And if it did, feel free to comment. And I would also love to hear your stories. If you have been able to successfully manifest love, please share your stories in the comments field down here below. And if you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe. I will be posting more of these videos, so feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed this story. And I'll talk to you again next time. Bye bye!